So let me ask you, what do you think your most valuable resources are? I want you to take this seriously. The results of hustle culture are not sustainable. You gotta work hard to be successful. That is a lie. Oh my God. It drives me bonkers. How many times have you caught yourself saying, "I'm so tired," just this last week? In today's episode, you are going to learn about the 3 simple ingredients that your to-do list is missing and how to quickly incorporate them so that you can instantly boost your energy and your productivity. Let's dive in. Welcome to Resonance, the podcast for high performers and entrepreneurs who want to do life, work, and success differently. I am your host, Viktoria Levenberg, and I am obsessed with efficiency, productivity, and planning in a way that harnesses your energy and your natural rhythms while keeping you in alignment and integrity. Because I have figured out that lasting success is not about the hustle. It is about being in resonance. Let's begin. All right, this week is honestly tired has been the theme of this week. So at the time of the recording of this episode, we've just come through a full moon. It was the pink moon, which means it's the first full moon after the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere. For me, it's the autumn equinox. So the days are getting shorter. It's getting a little bit colder, it's getting darker, and it's also coupled with the energy of Easter week, etc. So hands down, tired has been the theme of this week, which is what inspired this episode as well. Because if you're anything like me, chances are your energy is quite precious. And unfortunately, most people let this slip when they plan their work, their life, and their business. So let me ask you, what do you think your most valuable resources are? And don't say money. I know money is energy. It is also a resource. However, your most valuable resources, contrary to popular belief, are in fact your time and your energy. They're truly those assets that we get to nurture, yet they are so often also the ones that we tend to hand away freely, like cotton candy at a carnival. And I will always stand for the fact that your energy is the absolute most precious, most valuable currency of your life. In fact, I wrote a whole newsletter about it just during the week of recording this episode. By the way, if you're not subscribed to my newsletter, make sure you do, because they are so amazing. Not that I'm tooting my horn or anything, but they're pretty great. And, there's only so much I get to share with you on the podcast versus in writing. So it's quite a different experience if you're someone that is overloaded with emails and you actually just want like a breath of fresh air in your inbox, then Flourish Weekly, which is the name of my newsletter, is definitely the place to be. I've got the link in the show notes just below. But anyways, let me kind of not get too sidetracked and come back to the theme of today's episode, which is energy. You see, these are our most precious assets, our most valuable currency, and yet we're often running out of them, right? Like we're running out of time and we're energy leaking, or we're sacrificing the things that would actually fill up our energy cup in order to scrim for said time that we're running out of. Now, fear not, my friends, because by the end of this specific episode, you will have the 3 powerful shifts to boost your energy that are an absolute must-have on your to-do list so that you can perform at your peak while feeling pretty amazing. Let's begin. Okay. We're going to begin this episode by debunking a belief I see too commonly and too often in the people I work with. And it is this nasty belief that we've been taught from a really young age and we get reinforced in the corporate workforce and everywhere else, which is you gotta work hard to be successful. That is a lie. Now, if I'm starting to rub you the wrong way, notice it. Notice any resistance that's coming up. And I just ask you, be open-minded, stick around, see what's waiting for you on the other side of debunking this lie and this belief. Because the thing is, this belief of you've got to work hard to be successful has been established to allow for hustle culture to work. Now, there is a reason why it is so common. Just because it's common doesn't mean it's normal. And I will be the first one to put my hand up and say that I believe hustle culture is absolutely broken. It operates backwards. It goes against everything that human beings, our planet, and the ability for everyone to thrive is actually meant to be. It depletes your energy, and it is a really slippery slope and path that goes straight to Burnoutville. Again, speaking from experience here, my friends. And I find it really heartbreaking, unfortunately, that even in the common workforce, a department that you would be like, oh, they're supposed to look out for me, literally stands for human resources. Think about that for a second. Human resources. You are a resource that the business uses to operate. And so, of course, they want to get the most resources from you absolutely possible. It's honestly, the deeper you get into it, the scarier it gets. But really, all keeping it kind of to the context of this specific conversation, the results of hustle culture are not sustainable. Yes, they might work to some extent, and depending on your personality type and your achievement archetype, all those things, they might get you to a certain specific point. However, if your energy is depleted, your work is likely pretty low quality, or you're making mistakes and you're having to redo it 20 million times or double check and proofread everything because you're just not thinking straight. And the most dangerous one, and this one's so sneaky, and that is busy work masking itself as productivity. So, being like, oh my God, I've got so much to do, I'm so busy. And you're like rearranging boxes on a PowerPoint slide. Like, is that really your 5% activities that are going to move the needle forward on all of your biggest dreams? I don't think so. So this is why we are here today. We're debunking this lie that we have been fed for way too long, that you gotta work hard to be successful, because there is an easy way. And in fact, speak to the most successful people in the world, and they will tell you that grinding and hustling and burning yourself out ain't the way to go. So with that in mind, I would love to introduce you to the missing ingredient in your work, life, and planning. And it is one of my key pillars that I teach, which is energy management. And I will bet you that these things that I'm about to share with you, which are just starting to scratch the surface, they're pretty basic, but we've got to start somewhere, right? I will bet you that they are not on your to-do list right now, and that they are often the very first to go when you are scrimping for time. But before I reveal them, let me just give you a little metaphor, a bit of a visual to work with, right? So imagine that you have a jug or a pitcher, or, like a big vessel of water. And if you've been around my neck of the woods for a while, you might have seen me speak about this before, but I just find it as really such a powerful metaphor. So you've got this big jug of water, and imagine that this jug, it represents you, and the water is your energy, right? They're the resources, they're the life force energy that emanates from you, that you then choose to invest or spend in certain areas of your life, right? So there will be different areas of your life that will demand your energy, aka your resources, such as maybe work being a big one for most of us, right? Those of us with kids, family, pets, friends, admin, chores, doing the groceries, all the different things, they stack up. And so here you are. Imagine it's like all of these demands are little glasses. And so you're pouring from your little energy cup, and you're pouring water into the work glass, and then you're pouring water into the life admin glass, and then you're pouring some into the family, and then maybe there's a friend's one. And what happens is one of two things. As you're pouring from your energy jug, the water starts to deplete, right? And what I see more often than not is people pouring from the reserves, which is that last little bit that's left, until they're trying to pour from empty. And that's when the inevitable collapse comes in. Or the better way the sustainable way is people who have found a really effective, time-efficient way to resource their energy cup and make sure that they are also reallocating resources and energy back into their own jug. So in a perfect scenario, which this is possible, and this is how you achieve peak productivity, you're actually pouring from the overflow. So you've got so much energy in your vessel that the energy that you are pouring into your work, into your life, into your business, your family, your kids, it is overflowing. You've got so much left and you're just giving because there's so much to give. Overflow. That is energy management, my friends. So how does this work? Look, we are all bio-individual beings, right? So again, if you've been around my neck of the woods for quite some time, you will know that I don't believe that there's a one-size-fits-all approach. Someone's resourcing of their cup might be very different to someone else's, and it depends on your personality types and a whole plethora of different things, which is what I am uncovering with my students in Efficiency Made Easy right now. However, the three basics that we all need more of, and we all better ought start here, because I can bet you that there's at least one of these, if not all three of them, that you currently have an energy deficit in, is what we're going to dive into right about now. Number one, sleep. Now, before you roll your eyes at me, let me ask you and be honest with me. How many hours of sleep have you been getting this last week? Has it been enough, so much so that you are waking up naturally with your body clock and rhythm and feeling energized at the start of the day? Or are you like pressing snooze for the third time and feeling that heavy, groggy, kind of almost this brain fog situation going on, and just like you can't fully open your eyes in the morning? Yeah. We live in a world that has got a major sleep deficit. It breaks my heart. In all honesty, it is one of the biggest challenges that we face in our modern day and age. And when I say sleep, I don't just mean the quantity, aka the hours of sleep. I'm also speaking about the quality of your sleep, because again, our lifestyles, don't even get me started on the blue light that we're all exposed to, and the way that we choose to live our lives and eat and move and all those different things. They actually, unfortunately, deteriorate the quality of our sleep quite significantly as well. So if you are one of those people who are really struggling either with quality or quantity of sleep, or both, I actually have dedicated specific episodes to this subject in itself that I'll link up just underneath this video, because I highly recommend them to you and I think you'll love them. One of them is how to sleep like a pro without needing to actually increase the hours. So it like makes sure that you get the best bang for your buck of the hours that you do get when you're in bed. And the second one actually goes a layer deeper, because sleep is only one of the 7 types of rest that every high performer needs. And so it might be that you're feeling really tired and you're like, well, I guess I'm getting enough sleep and it's pretty good, but why am I still so tired? That episode will answer all of your questions. So again, that'll all be linked up in the show notes. But really, I want you to take this seriously, because even the Harvard Business Review states that most of us have a sleep deficit, and when we have that, it negatively impacts our performance. And studies show that people are losing sleep from working too much. That's then having a knock-on effect to their sleep quality. Like, I'm not just using this anecdotally. This is a fact. It is an epidemic. And I genuinely want you to focus here first and foremost, because you cannot operate at your best from a depleted state, and sleep is the easiest, fastest solution to it all. So that is number one, sleep. Number 2, move your body. I know, it might feel like I'm here being like this boring teacher telling you to eat your veggies and drink your water, but like, this is so important. And again, probably one of those things that we're like rolling our eyes at, yet not doing. Like, we all know we should be doing it, but we actually don't do it, right? And so this I've seen mostly with really busy corporate professionals, entrepreneurs as well, especially when, they don't have a lot of structure or plans in their day that hold them accountable to moving and either getting outside or to a class or however they choose to move their body. And they're often relying on trying to find the time or trying to find motivation. And none of those things work. The fact of the matter is we live in a primal body. Literally, our body needs to move when we are stressed. We need to process that stress. We need to get those endorphins up and running, and it is a way of filling up your cup. Now, there is a plethora of different types of movement that you need depending on your constitution, the other, again, bio-individual specifics of your life, right? Like if you are already running on empty and super burnt out, then maybe waking up at 4 a.m. for F45 isn't the best solution. But again, I could nerd out on this for days. In fact, I have also recorded a specific episode on movement that I will also link up to this episode in case that is what you're in need of in your life right now. And remember that as long as it is regular, it works for you and it brings you joy, those are the essentials that will truly fill up your energy bucket. So that is number 2, move your body. And lastly, we've got number 3. Oh dear. And this one I'm really damn passionate about. And I'm keeping this super high level because there's another deeper layer we could go into. But again, I wanted to keep this pretty basic and pretty attainable for anyone listening to this episode. And that is take a freaking lunch break. Oh my God, it drives me bonkers to see people eating at their desk, skipping lunch. And I'm not saying if you're intermittent fasting or you're not eating whatever, I'm not saying you need to eat at midday. That is not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying take a break in the middle of your day and ideally at multiple points throughout your day. But again, we're not going to go too far down that rabbit hole. At least start with one. And I will never forget the moment I was at a burnout panel with about 100 women or so. And one of the panelists asked the crowd, was like, okay, hey, raise your hand if you take a lunch break. And of course, I was, the ACE plus student, one of the first ones to put my hand up. And then I looked around me and I was in disbelief. I think my jaw dropped in the moment. I was like, how am I one of maybe 10 women who put their hand up? 10% of people who take a lunch break? That is ridiculous. And I remember, that was a really humbling moment of going back in time of the days when I used to use my lunch break as an opportunity to catch up on emails or, eat it at my desk or completely skip it or all these different things. And again, without going too far down this rabbit hole, there is a thing called a ultradian rhythm, which is your body's circadian rhythm equivalent throughout the day. In fact, 24 hours of the day. But it literally, your body works in specific cycles. And in order for you to maximize the peaks, it needs you to honor the specific breaks throughout the day. Otherwise, it's just like a path downhill, which is why most people who don't take breaks during their day, by the time they're done with their work, they're their brain is fried. They've got 0 left in the tank. And all they do is just numb out on the couch because they've got nothing left to give. And I find that a real shame because it's actually so simple and so easy to implement once you've got the planning formula that helps you incorporate energy management and resource allocation straight from the get-go. But if there's one thing that you just do today, even right this second, pause this episode right now, head into your calendar and put a recurring 30-minute time block at lunchtime in your diary. It doesn't have to be 30 minutes. If that sounds really scary, if it sounds too much, just put something, some kind of reminder, and do your best to follow through. And if you don't follow through, that's okay. Just try again the next day. But these little prompts, they will act as visual cues. That is literally how I started. I just put a recurring invite in my calendar at midday and also at the time that I wanted to make sure I left the office because I used to be one of those, late night owls. And you'd be surprised at how those little prompts and cues tend to work quite a bit of magic. So there you have it. Number 3, take a lunch break or some kind of break throughout your workday. And this is working smartly, my friends, because smart work is the fastest way to success. Because the success does not come from you working hard and burning yourself out and hustling harder and grinding and being the first one in and the last one out. No, like, trust me, I've been there. It doesn't work. Success comes from clarity. It comes from focus. It comes from energy, creativity, flow state, and all of these things are boosted when you are giving from the overflow rather than the reserves. You don't need to grind harder. You don't need to push more. You don't need to chase at your sacrifice. You don't need to chase at the sacrifice of your well-being. Because one day there will be nothing left to give, and take it from someone who got to that point, it's not worth it. So if there's only one thing you take away from this episode, let it be this. Weave energy management into your planning. Just start with these 3 simple things. Sleep, move your body, and take a break during the day. That is already going to be like the little tiny adjustment you make that's going to have exponential impacts on your energy and your results. And if you are interested, if you're like, okay, cool, I get it. There's so much more where that came from, because I am teaching a really, really deliberate and detailed resource planning allocation formula inside of my group coaching program, Efficiency Made Easy. It is so exciting. It is truly the system that sets you up for success. And if you're one of those people who's thinking, Vic, no, you don't understand, Vic. I have too much to do. There's no way that I could take a break or get more sleep, let alone like make time for moving my body. Who do you think I am? That is a privilege. I don't have that privilege. This isn't me attacking you. Again, I'm just saying you might be thinking those things. And you know what? You're thinking them because that's true. You do have too much to do. And the harsh truth is that you have too much to do because you are so depleted that you can't even see clearly at what is truly necessary and a priority to be done in the moment. There is a ability to prioritize and allocate your energy, time, and productivity in a specific way. And unfortunately, when we're depleted, we can't see that because our nervous system is fried and, we're not at our optimal capacity. Our mental clarity is out the window. So of course, I totally get it. Like, I'm not pointing fingers here or anything, but it's just, if that's still the resistance that's coming up for you, know that the fact that your energy is depleted is actually like one of the main reasons why you're feeling this way. And so if you still think that you've got too much to do, and that's why you can't give yourself that extra sleep, moving your body, or taking a break, then just take a moment and look back at how far this has actually gotten you. And in fact, is that potentially your mind trying to trick you and masking you with seemingly productive, busy work that's not actually productive, that is actually keeping you away from the exact thing that you need? If that is something that's happening, hey, you've got your 3 solutions. Increase the sleep, move your body, put a lunch break in your diary. Those are the 3 simple shifts that will instantly boost your energy and have you performing at better productivity levels than you have in a long time. Because when we give from the overflow, we get to operate at our best. So put it in the calendar, block out some time for it, make a commitment. Be coachable. Give it a try. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? You're going to feel great. Come on. Give it a try. Let me know how it goes. I am so grateful that you are here. I will see you next week. Bye for now. If you're a high performer or entrepreneur who's got big dreams and you've developed strategies to get you closer to those dreams, but you feel like there are also parts of you self-sabotaging your success, I built something just for you. It is my signature Achievement Archetypes quiz that is absolutely free, takes less than 2 minutes, and it will give you instant feedback as to where your Achilles heel is. That is your natural self-sabotaging behavior when it comes to productivity, planning, efficiency, and organization. And it gives you your next right step and the solution you didn't know you needed. You'll find the link in the show notes just below. Make sure you find your achievement archetype and let me know what it is. As a fellow achiever, I will be the first to put my hand up that I have now mastered my Achilles heel, and I can't wait for you to do the same. The views and opinions expressed by guests on Resonance are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of me, Viktoria Levenberg, Live in Health, or anyone working within the Live in Health brand. This space welcomes a diversity of ideas, experiences, and stories, and part of Resonance is learning to take what aligns and gently leaving the rest. Also, while I am a national board certified health and wellness coach and deeply passionate about well-being, this podcast is intended for educational and inspirational purposes only. Resonance does not substitute personalized medical, psychological, or therapeutic advice. Always seek guidance from qualified professionals for any physical, emotional, or mental health concerns.